So we are here for the 58th TSC. We have some updates for today. And we are going to start with the participants. So we've got Telecom Italia, Orange, DT not yet. VK is not VOOC, it's Tom Kivlin. So I have to check the participants. No, okay. Telefonica not yet, but I assume Luis is going to join. Vodafone, Tommy is here. Ericsson, we've got Riyab. And Nokia Uni is not connected yet. So for the moment, we are 1, 2, 3, 4. We have not the quorum, but assume that one additional member will join us. So next TSC will be in a while, 3rd of September. So we will have, of course, the last week of August, the Open Source Summit. So this is why we are starting back in September. For the general news, the first one, just to share the new roadmap PDF, because some of you asked me where is it and so on. So I shared the link. So it was based on the last TSC, so we will have it. And I see another general news. Carlo, what is it?
Yes, we finally managed to join as a premium sponsor Sylva Fund. It has been a long process, but we finally managed to arrive.
Okay, congratulations. So we have got now 5 premier sponsors, if I remember.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. And we have a couple of general members. So this is for the funding board. And you have some LinkedIn post about the team of the board that has been released today. So if you're going to LinkedIn, you'll have some news about this. And there's a missing topic in the general news, but I did not forget to come back on this on the Sylva Summit. So don't know who has in mind to participate. So you can raise your hand on the chat around the bridge. On our side, we
summit,
will.
Participation
Yeah,
in
the Open Source Summit, yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay, Luis, Carlo.
I won't personally participate, but a couple of colleagues will be there.
Do you know who from Telecom Italia?
2 very young colleagues just hired that we would like to start knowing some people from Sylva. So okay. we will send them to the conference and to the Sylva Day. So okay. Please.
Give me the name. We will have
yes. I will give you the reference.
Okay. So don't hesitate to promote this organization.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Joris. Yeah. Hello, VOOC. So we have a quorum about the board. And VOOC, I don't know if you'll have some DT participants to the Sylva Summit.
We have actually a very strict travel freeze. Unfortunately, came 2-3 weeks ago. So I was planning to participate. Maybe there will be something possible on a short term, closer now to the end of July. But I don't think anybody would be going out of our organization overall, because it's like a general travel freeze due to some financial steering topics.
Look, we understand this. It's happening in all companies. So
Yes,
it's your turn next time.
Same
Be
business.
mine.
It's
So, okay.
so I'll let you know in case something changes.
Okay.
I was really looking forward to join, and unfortunately, this time seems not to be the straightforward thing.
Okay. Carlo, you want to add something about this? No. Okay. Tim is joining us. Tim, we were discussing about participation about Sylva Summit. I think on the orange side will be at least 5. We will have also Telecom Italia participants, Telefonica, Telecom who did I miss? Probably. So I don't know on your side. Do you plan to participate also?
Sorry, Guillaume, was that a question for me?
Yeah, but Open Source Summit and Sylva Summit, by the way.
Whether I'm coming or how Sue's presence looks like?
Both.
So there's a bunch. I will be there. A bunch of other folks are planning on attending as well. I haven't registered, so you don't see my name on the list yet. But I'm planning on being there.
It was about the intention, yeah. And perhaps also Ran, you have also in mind to participate. Don't remember.
Still not approved, Guillaume, but I will keep you posted.
Okay. Okay. So if there are any other people around the bridge, so don't hesitate to share your intent. Okay. Thank you. And thanks you, Julie, who gave us the register link.
Yeah. And actually, if I might add something, we really need you guys to register if you plan to come, because we are planning right now the catering, the organization of the event, and we need to know a little bit ahead of the event how many people will actually be there, so that the event and the budget for the event is well spent, right? So please do not forget to register if you plan to go.
Thank you. Okay, so the first point will be on work group 1. Matthew, are you here? Yeah.
Yes, I am. I didn't update the document because I don't have a lot of information to share. Just to tell you that we keep on working on V3 items. Sorry, not V3, V1.5 items. And in parallel, we keep backporting features, not features, bug fixes, sorry. In Sylva 1.4, in Sylva 1.3 also, we keep maintaining it. And for example, we tagged Sylva 1.3.14 with bug fixes.
Okay. Thanks. Any question to Matthew?
No.
Okay, so if it's okay, yeah, Tim? Oh. No. If it's okay with work group 1, we're going to follow with work group 2.
Okay, this is me. Hello. Work group 2. Things that we have done so far. We have validated in these last 2 weeks 2 more workloads. So now we are at 19, which is good. We keep progressing. There are weeks where we don't validate no one because it takes time to validate the workload. But this time, in these 2 weeks, we have done 2 more. So it's 19 now, which is good. And there's more to be validated because we have 3 more in the backlog. And there's a new one being proposed lately. It will be next week, will be accepted. And we will decide in which platform to validate it or which platforms to validate it. So good progress, 2 new ones. And something good is that we have included the validation of the cluster version upgrade with no impact into the Titanium validation report. which is a good progress. This is the first time where we included this validation, and the process will be included in future validations. So things that we want to do, we want to start with those in the backlog, those three, plus the new one that will be added, keep working on them. And we will complete the creating, we have already created, introducing the new validation platform. You may remember that we have a white stack one, which is a platform of bare metal with AMD processors that we are including, but we are still trying to validate there an existing, a previously validated workload. So we are still progressing with that. And once it is available, we will have a new platform, which is good. So progress so far is that we have new workloads validated, 19 in total. We keep validating because there's a backlog still. And we are adding a new platform to revalidate some of the existing workloads. Things to share. Today I have something to share. As you may remember, through the weeks, I've been talking about new elements that were included in the validation, which are the cloud native verification, cloud native principles verification, the best practices verification, the security best practices following the working group 3 recommendations validation, and the version cluster upgrade, cluster version upgrade without or with minimal service impact verification. So I'm going to show you now, if you give me access.
I will give you the
Guillaume, please.
the role, yeah.
I'm going to show you how we have incorporated into the template, the validation report template, how to report these three verifications, and the specific example for the titanium, because this is the first one where we have incorporated all these elements already. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
Already you are.
Okay, let me know when you can see it. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
I'm sharing the, okay. Well, as you can see, here's the backlog. Okay, we have already 19 validated. The last one is the Open Exchange that was done by Orange in a bare metal platform, was recently completed last week. Okay, so and this is the template for the validation platform. You may have where we have all the validations and all this within Validation Center, where we have the different validations. By the way, here you have all the, apart from this document where you have the table of what has been validated, you also have, for instance, for the OpenStack, for each one of those 19, here you have the validation report. Okay, this is one validation report. Here you have the report for this one. Okay, so each one that has been validated, either in the OpenStack platforms, or in the bare metal platforms, you have here the corresponding reports. Okay, but we also have the validation report template as a reference on how to fill this validation report. So typically this is just an indication of what the workload is about, the name, the version, what are the specific features that are required by the platform, by the workload to be offered by the platform, which is the platform where it has been run. So this is an example of Stack plus RKE. When we will have new flavors, we will have new flavors here to be listed in the template. The version of Kubernetes that was used for this validation, specific plugins that were incorporated because the workload required, and what specific hardware, just to demonstrate that that the workloads in some validations are done with one server provider, in other with others, so being more cloud native. And then this is just the preparation or the description of what the validation is about. And now we have the evidences. The first one is as one of the new ones that we have incorporated. This is the first one that we want to show is we need to provide an evidence of some way that indicates that the cloud native principles from CNTA have been validated. So we will run the scripts, and here it indicates how many of these tests were passed, of the essential test pass, which are the important. And if any of them, then we will have a list, some kind of image like this, demonstrating that it has passed. The CNF test suite has been run and the different tests have passed. And if any of them has not passed, an explanation or why. Sometimes it's because the script is not considering things, or the CNTI script has to be reviewed, or things like that. Okay, so no passing a test doesn't mean it's not cloud native. It means that we should have an explanation of the reason why. And then the second part is the running of the security best practices verification. We have a list from working group 3 of guidelines, which are 13 different guidelines. Some of them actually are designed not to be validated. We keep this here just to be clear that to align this with the guidelines from working group 3, we are considering the 13 principles. And then we will need to incorporate an evidence that each one of them has been demonstrated somehow with the workload. Then there's an evidence that the platform corresponding has been configured to host the workload. Then evidence that the workload has been deployed. For each one of them, we need to show a screenshot. Then an evidence that the testing, the functional testing has been run, describing the functional test and a screenshot image that this happened. And then the new thing, which is the evidence that the workload cluster can be upgraded without or with minimal service impact. So in the template, we indicate also some preconditions indicating how this is going to be tested, the in-service upgrade, which upgrade path is going to be done just to demonstrate, for instance, Kubernetes 29 to Kubernetes 130. And in the end, the important part is some kind of a screenshot or image or some evidence that demonstrates that initially we had 129, then we had 130, or whatever is the path that we are validating at the moment, and that the functional tests that were shown initially can be run or will keep running, okay, or will keep existing. So the workload has not been impacted, let's say, by this. Okay, so this is the new template. We have incorporated all these 3 new elements: the cloud native principle verification, the security guidelines verification, and the cluster upgrade verification. And to show you an example of how this has been done, this is the actual validation report. Again, this is a template, only a template. This is the actual validation report for the Titanium DNS. Okay, a DNS is basically a switch that provides data. And as you can see here, there's a description of the validation. There's only one CNI required for this workload. It's been running an OpenStack plus RKE, the one in Telefonica. The version that was used is 129. So here is the normal thing. This is the first part, the cloud native principles verification. As you can see, the 13 elements were run here. So the different test from the CNTI, the test suite has been run, the version 144 of test suite, and 14 of them, this one here, were actually successfully passed. And 3 of them, the other 4, there's an explanation on why they could not be run or whatever. Okay, sometimes it's due to some analysis that needs to be done with CNTI, because the scripts from CNTI also we are working with them to improve them. Okay, so in this report you can see how the cloud native 14 out of 18 were passed exactly as CNTI expected, and the other 3, there's an explanation on what's the case or how this can be worked around. So the workload has been successfully passed against the cloud native principles. For security, the 13 guidelines that we have from working group 3 are listed here, and there's an indication on how each one of them was tested. Okay, so for instance, point 3, guideline number 3 in working group 3 in the security principle guidelines indicates why this doesn't need to be a test script, because some of the things is just design or is a way of indicating how this is tested. So each one of these lines here indicates how we can consider verified. Sometimes it's just with a test and sometimes it's with an explanation. We can consider verified the security guideline has been covered. Okay, so as you can see here, the 13 are I insist that the last one are a matter of design, really no design of how we use the workload is not actually a specific workload per se security guideline for the workload, but for the way we use a workload. Okay, but the rest here there's a description on which test has been run to demonstrate it. Some of them, by the way, are the same as the principal guidelines because some of the cloud native principles are security based. So some of the CNTI test results can be used for this. For instance, the proof of compliance for guideline 4 can be run because privilege containers and privilege escalation test scripts from CNTI were passed. Okay, so this is the second part of this new kind of verification. Then here you can see this is the normal part of how the platform was deployed, how the workload was deployed on top of the platform, how the functional tests were run. So the thing is deployed and data flows. Okay, so we run some tests provided by the with some specific tools provided by the workload provider, just to demonstrate that functionally it works as the provider expects. Okay, and then the new one is this one, is the evidence that the workload cluster upgrade was done. So in this case, as you can see, we started in version 129, and what we are going to do is moving to 130, simulating how the traffic is flowing through this DNS. But when we simulating the input of the traffic, but the traffic actually flows. And then demonstrate that even though we change the cluster underneath, the workload still will keep flowing. And initially all the pods will be in 129, and after we run with GitOps the change of cluster, will pass to 130, and still the data will keep flowing. Okay, this is a rolling upgrade strategy. In this case, depending on the workload, we may need different strategies. The rolling upgrade is the easiest one, so there's really nothing to do with the workload. Sometimes we need to create a backup workload so that when we are upgrading the active, the backup takes care, and then we upgrade the backup one. So in the end, the workload will be, both parts of the workload will be upgraded. In this case, this is not needed. It's just a rolling upgrade strategy. And as you can see here, there's some screenshots that demonstrate that this has happened. This has a lot of information, but as you can see here, the thing changed from 129 to 130. And an important element, we identify that there's a 30 seconds while the metal load balancer is switching actually, but the workload itself is still sending data. It's a matter of configuration, but only for 30 seconds. And as you can see, the data keeps flowing. So when we are in 129, everything data is flowing, the packets are flowing. And when we pass to 130, the packets still keep flowing. So we can demonstrate with these images, analyzing them, that the workload was deployed, the Kubernetes version of the platform itself was changed, the change happened, and after 30 seconds, everything keeps flowing in the same way with no manual intervention or nothing else to do. So we can then confirm that the workload supports the cluster version upgrade, which is a very important feature in these cloud native environments. Okay, so this is an example of a report incorporating these three new elements that we will expect every new workload to be validated to incorporate in the validation report. And that's all I wanted to show with you. So any question, comment on these new elements that we have incorporated?
It's a really good news. So the path you've been taking for upgrading the workload cluster is documented in Sylva, or is it something specific you did?
No, the way we upgrade the workload cluster is the normal Sylva document. So we just follow the Sylva process to upgrade the cluster. The only thing is that we upgrade it when there's something on top of the cluster, no empty. But we follow the Sylva process to do that.
Okay, and so you observed an outage of 30 seconds of a service interruption.
For that specific workload, yes, because the metal load balance, the metal LV needs to be configured properly. There are some support. That is the metal LV. In other workloads, as I said before, we just design it in a way that there's two versions of the workload itself that are running. So one is developed, upgraded, and then the backup one is upgraded. But in this case, we deemed that was not necessary.
Yeah, and depending on the application on top of it, it can be considered as an outage.
Yes. So this is why, depending on the, for instance, for the case of the 6-wind, we did it with a backend active and backup. So depending on the workload, there's different strategies to demonstrate that the cluster upgrade is successful. And it's the workload, the workload provider who needs to tell us which is the right strategy, what they consider an outage and what not.
Okay.
Same as the workload provider is the one who tell us what is the functional tests that we need to run to demonstrate that the workload is actually working.
But when you tell that a backup, an active backup strategy has to be chosen depending on the workload, you mean that we propose to the CNF vendor to deploy it on 2 workload cluster or?
Yes.
One?
So we ask the workload provider, what is the right strategy? What is an outage for you? How we should do? Just a rolling upgrade is enough, or your workload requires to be 0 seconds outage, and then we need to have an active backup. And in that case, we deploy it twice, one active and one backup. But we need to configure the workload with some kind of mechanism so that the backup comes into place when the active is upgraded.
From my point of view, what we should focus on is rolling upgrades. Well, if we have any issues and if we observe service interruption because of the rolling upgrade of the underlying cluster, it can be considered as a bug of Sylva, because if we have to deploy multiple workload cluster, it's not efficient in production.
That depends on the workload, I insist, I think. Because rolling upgrade always happens. Underneath, there's a rolling upgrade when we are running. Every one of the pods nodes is being upgraded for the workload cluster.
Okay.
So depending on the workload, the strategy could be different.
Yeah.
Mihal, you've got a question, comment?
Yeah, I have a question. Thanks, Luis, for the presentation. I'm happy to see that you've started to implement the requirements, the guidelines. I don't know exactly right now the number of the guideline because it has been changed on the Sylva page. But my question is to the one related to the escalated privileges, because I remember that in the phrase that we used was that unless it's required and unless there is a justification. And my question is, if the CNF vendor came with a justification, or did they not use escalated privileges in the validation? Because I've seen the script, but it was not clear for me if they have used the privileges or not.
I'm not sure right now. I will ask the team to contact you and then review together. Okay. The result, if we understood properly, I think we did, but we understood properly the security guidelines. Maybe the version, as you say, has been updated, and for next validations, we need to incorporate new things, and we can review that. In general, the idea is that the workload provider shows some explanation of the security principle has been taken into consideration in the design, and if not, an explanation why. So if the security, if it can be demonstrated within a script, we run it within a script. If it's just a reasoning, it's a reasoning. But the case of security privileges, if let's say it needs not to have security privileges and it uses them, we need an explanation why this is actually needed. So it's not that we prevent from using them. We say it should not be, it's not recommended. But if there's an explanation, for some reason, we can accept it. Okay.
Yeah.
But I will ask the team to review it with you.
Yeah, it would be useful if you can provide some feedback to me offline about this,
Absolutely.
because it would be really good for the evolution of the guidelines.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Vuk?
Hello, Vuk.
Hey, I just want to jump in with a comment based on the experience. I seen the validation is a mixture of like cloud native principles and also some security, important security rules. We typically have all these security requirements implemented as policies. In case in our platform, it's a Kyverno policy, and they are per default set on enforce. So essentially, if you do not if you are breaching the policy, you can not install, you cannot deploy. But there is also the policy exception mechanism, which is exactly following this logic, Louis, which you mentioned. So you can put it also as a code, policy exception, and then there you need also to provide the explanation why you need it, because it just need to be transparently documented and then deactivated so that it's known why, and not everybody can do something. So maybe as an idea in some future validation, maybe it could be also tested to put the guard with the security policies in the cluster and check if the workload can be installed and then started without any exception. And that's also kind of statement, is it off the shelf already compliant?
Okay, yes, that's so. One thing though is that when we are checking out security guidelines for the workload, not for the platform. So we are checking the guidelines that Working Group 3 has defined for the workload itself. But as you have just said, there's a policy exception. So if something cannot be covered, we expect the workload provider to tell us why they need to have that.
And Mihai, can you take the point to see if it's relevant, this policy Kyverno, if you're okay to share with us, if we can evaluate this, it helps to verify our security policy.
Yeah, I'll take a note of it, and I will contact Book later about more details. Thank you.
Yeah. We can share entire catalog. Number of them are upstream known, but some are custom. So
okay,
we can catch up on that. Yep.
Proposal. Other question or comments to Luis? Okay, I will take back the showing. On my side, 2 comments. One, thank you, Luis, because this initial validation for us, it's time saving for our integration. So I think it's going in a good direction. How in the community we can be more efficient. And the other one, I see your comment about white stack validation with 6 wins. So we are in discussion with Guillermo with white stack to see how we can bring our experience on diverse projects we have, and it's really related to Workgroup 6. So the connection has been made with Morgan on this topic. Okay, so we are going to security workgroup.
Okay. So from our side, we have refined 10 Sylva requirements related to UCS, as we have seen some, let's say, some outdated things compared to the current version which we have. For the next step, we have identified 20 more that we need to refine and correctly map to the requirements, because they were missing in our analysis. And we are working, and we will continue to finalize the OSS presentation on the supply chain, which has been accepted, such that we will be ready for the summit.
at the OpenSSF Summit. Yeah. Any question to Mihai? No. Thanks, Mihai, for the update. On Workgroup 4 sustainability, Ramin.
Yes, in the past 2 weeks, the Green Dashboard team has been working on releasing the 1.01 release. So the previous issues of namespace supports is enabled here. So you can see the performance and the power metrics at the namespace level. Also, that's will include the visualization dashboard. In the next release for July, 1.02, it will support different customizations for data center information, including the PVD and carbon intensity. Hopefully, we can get more information by that time. Thank you.
Okay, any question to Amin? No. And thanks, Amin. So, communication, we start to speak about OSS, but it's a key topic. Julie, are you taking the question?
Yes, actually, so guys, I have 3 things to ask you. The first one is maybe you've seen it on LinkedIn, but we are quite active right now. Thanks to me and my intern, we took the LinkedIn project, and we are really active on social media, and we need your help. 1 month ago, I started a project so that we can showcase all the progress made by the work groups, what we do, what you are proud of, and the idea is to highlight your achievements. Right now, I've got almost all the work group achievements except for work group 3 and work group 6. So you are the bad students today, sorry guys, but I really need your input so that we can launch the campaign. So please send me anything, such as it could be just a resume of what you've done, a special event that you loved, or just a technical topic that you tackled this year and that you solved. Basically everything that you are proud of, and we are going to communicate a lot about it on LinkedIn and via a press release. So I really need your contribution from work group 3 and work group 6. So that's the first thing. The second thing.
Tell us, Julie, if it's okay for Mihai and for Morgan.
Yep.
Is it okay, Morgan?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you, guys. The second thing is, as you know, Sylva is part of the IPCEI, which is a European project. Actually, it is called Important Project for Common European Interests. So basically, those are projects that represent growth, job, competitiveness for the European industry. And Sylva is part of it, so we can really be proud about it. And they asked us to be part of a webinar during the first week of September. And I need your help, guys, from Telefonica and Telecom Italia and Selfocus. Basically, I need people who would be willing to join me on the webinar to present Sylva. It's a really quick introduction, what we do, the basics about Sylva, and how it is adopted, how is our adoption. So it won't be on site, it's a webinar, so it's on the web. You don't need to, you just need to connect to the internet to participate. And I would like some name from your teams or from you guys so that I can organize the event. So who would be willing to participate with me for this amazing event, which gives us a lot of money?
Something important, it's a remote event.
It's a remote event.
I can join as we connect.
Okay. So Carlo, you can join.
Do you know exactly the date?
Not yet. The idea is that when I have all the name, we can fix the date, the best date for everyone.
Okay, because I have to check when I'm available in beginning of September.
Okay, this is the first week of September, this is sure.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think it will last 1 or 2 hours maximum, questions included. So that's not too costly.
So Julie, we at SUSE, we're not receiving IPSAI funding for our participation in Sylva directly, but we have some relationships indirectly, and of course we're involved in other IPSAI initiatives. If that qualifies, I'm happy to discuss with Rajesh how we can help as well.
Cool. Okay. I can put you in my list. Cool. And maybe someone from Telefonica.
Yeah, I did comment before.
Yeah, Luis already commented.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see it. So I'm sorry, I didn't understand. You are already coming. That's it.
Yes, me, Luis, from Telefonica. Yes, to the webinar, remote webinar, I can participate. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I can give you your
also
your name.
As Carlos said, we need to know the date, the exact date to accommodate.
Yeah,
but
sure.
First week of September, I can do. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys. Okay, amazing. So it's perfect. And my last request for you guys is please, we have the open source summit coming up. It's really, really important for us to know the attendance. So when you can register. I'll send you in the conversation the links to register. So please, as soon as you know, register. It will help us tremendously to organize an amazing event. And that's it for me, I think. I've asked all my requests.
To Julie, any question to Julie and the adoption work group? Comments? No? Okay, so work group 6. Morgan?
Yes. So what did I put? So you already mentioned the initiation of the discussion with White Stack. So I need to finalize the minutes from the previous. So I think I upgrade. You don't have anything in the page. Well, anyway, I must finalize the minute from the previous meeting when we discussed about. Okay, I will check. But when we had 2 interesting sessions, one on AI agent for GitOps, and the second, the convergence with GitOps enabler, and see how we can move to a unit. So there was an update on the status done with the community last time. The session initially planned tomorrow has been cancelled because most of the attendants were not available. So that's it. And we are planning the next meeting and probably with some contribution with newcomer. People already participate, but they didn't present anything yet. But we will have our first presentation, I hope, from Vodafone. And probably we could also make a bridge with what has been presented in the working group 2 because it's really connected. So with White Stack or with a working 2, we need also to synchronize on that. But yeah, that's for the main status for me. And I lost my add-ons. Okay.
Perhaps you can find it in the history. If
Yeah. No worry.
It's the magic of Fulky. Thanks. And we have got now 7th working group, and Vuk is here. And the next time we will start with the 7th one.
Yes, I mean it's just a number, so no problems. Yes, last time we confirmed the 7th working group, cluster networking. I am now acting as a lead, as we need to organize the kickoff and then also do the selection. So not much has happened since last TSC. I was waiting on the minutes of the previous TSC in order to start communication and to do announcement. This is now going to happen in the next couple of days. We are also preparing the blog post, which is kind of preceding the formation of working group about the results of the POC. So this is also going to be done soon, and the main focus will be on getting the kickoff ready. Now the question is, because we are already in a heat season, in a summer season, does it really pay off to do it now in the next couple of weeks, or rather to announce it for a bit further in the end of the summer? And I'll be reaching out with some doodles or whatever tool is used for finding the slot, so that we have a date for that, and in the meantime preparing repositories and the home for the working group. So yeah, that's more planning, less what has been done last time, but that's it.
Okay, I assume that Morgan, I found your dates.
I think, yeah, this was probably Morgan was expecting that the last group is the.
Yeah, it was I assumed to be the last one, so.
Okay, so strength of the habit. Sorry.
Okay. I was concerned for a moment. I was reading this and said, "This is not known to me that we did that." Okay, now it's clear.
Okay, so you mentioned the blog post, and to make the link with also the workgroup communication, there's the press release. So I propose you a shortened version just to introduce this in the press release. So don't hesitate to amend it.
Already checked that, and I need the edit access to do a bit of.
Okay, sorry.
Publishing. Yeah, no
Okay.
issues. That's
you have it today. That's it. Any questions to Book and this new team?
No, just want to say that I published the TSC meeting just yesterday. Sorry for the delay, but I put the link in the chat.
Okay, thank you, Carlo.
No worries. I just found it at the beginning of the meeting and already have the anchor points.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any open question? Because we have many participants here. No questions on every topics? Okay. So I'm happy to meet some of you last week of August. In the meantime, don't hesitate to ping Carlo or me for any topics, and for the others, we'll meet together on the 3rd of September for our next TSC meeting. Thanks all.
Have a good summer.
Have a good
summer.
Have a nice summer.
Good summer periods for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you.